There's a moment in every great love story where everything changes, a moment where the truth hits you like lightning and you realize the person you've been searching for has been right in front of you all along. But what if I told you there's something even more extraordinary? What if the person you fell in love with was also the person you hated most in the world? This is that story. A story about Katherine Kelly and James Fox, two people who were destined to destroy each other and destined to save each other. They fell in love twice, once through words on a screen where they bared their souls to a stranger, and once in real life where they were sworn enemies locked in a battle that would determine the fate of the last independent bookshop on the Upper West Side. By the end of this story, you'll witness three life-changing moments: the moment they discovered the truth, the moment they had to choose between love and victory, and the moment that proved that sometimes the universe has to break you apart before it can put you back together. But before we get there, before we reach that earth-shattering revelation that happened on a rainy Thursday night in Manhattan, let me tell you about the morning when Katherine Kelly's perfect, book-scented world began to crumble. Because to understand the ending, you need to understand how it all began. Katherine Kelly had a ritual. Every morning for the past 5 years, since she'd inherited the Corner Book Nook from her grandmother, she would wake up at 5:47 a.m. Not 5:45, not 5:50, but 5:47 exactly. She'd discovered that this gave her precisely enough time to make her coffee, check her emails, and watch the sunrise paint golden stripes across the wooden floors of her bookshop before the first customer arrived. That September morning started like every other. The apartment above the bookshop creaked its familiar good morning. The coffee maker, a temperamental vintage machine her grandmother had bought in 1987, gurgled and hissed like a dragon waking up, and her laptop chimed with a new email. "Good morning, Bookish Dreamer 95, the message began. Katherine smiled, her fingers already dancing across the keyboard. Her anonymous pen pal, NY Literary 152, had become the highlight of her mornings. 6 months ago, they connected in an obscure online forum dedicated to first edition novels. What started as a debate about Fitzgerald's use of symbolism had evolved into something more. But here's what Katherine didn't know. At that exact moment, just 20 blocks away, the man writing to her was standing in a boardroom, staring at a surveillance photo of her bookshop. We'll get to why in a moment. The email continued. Last night, I couldn't sleep. I found myself walking through the city at 3 a.m. Do you ever do that? Walk without destination? I passed this small bookshop on the Upper West Side. There was a child's drawing taped to the window, a dragon reading a book to a mouse. For some reason, it made me think of you. You said once that every bookshop is a sanctuary. This one felt like that. Sacred, somehow. I stood there for probably 20 minutes just looking at this place. There was an apartment above it with one light on. I wondered who lived there. What kind of person chooses to live above books? Then I realised, probably someone like you. Someone who understands that stories aren't just words on pages. They're lifelines. Is that crazy? To feel connected to a stranger's bookshop at 3 a.m. Anyway, I've been thinking about what you said last week, about how we all wear masks. You're right. I wear mine so tightly sometimes I forget there's a face underneath. But when I write to you, the mask comes off. You see me, the real me, the one who quotes poetry badly and believes that the right book at the right moment can save someone's life. Do you ever wonder what would happen if we met? Would you recognise me without my mask? Would I disappoint you? Yours in words, NY Literary 152 PS. That Neruda quote you sent yesterday hasn't left my head. I love you without knowing how, or when, or from where. I think I understand it now. Katherine read the email 3 times. Each time her heart beat a little faster. She began typing her response. Dear NY Literary 152, you are at my bookshop. That drawing, it's been there for 3 months. A little girl named Lucy made it during our story time. And that light you saw, that was me. I couldn't sleep either. I was cataloguing new arrivals and wondering why the universe feels bigger at 3 a.m. You ask if it's crazy to feel connected to a stranger's bookshop. I think it's the sanest thing you've ever written. Every bookshop has a soul. Mine certainly does. Sometimes I swear I can hear it breathing. About masks. I wear them too. The confident business owner. The woman who has it all together. But at 3 a.m, cataloguing books in my pyjamas, I'm just a girl who still believes in magic. The kind of magic that happens when the right person finds the right book, or when two strangers find each other through words. Would I recognise you without your mask? I think I already do. I see you in every carefully chosen word, in every vulnerable admission, in every quote you share. I see your soul and it's beautiful. But I have to tell you something. Cat! Marcus burst through her apartment door, his usually perfectly styled hair in disarray. Emergency! Actual, real, the sky is falling emergency. Catherine's fingers hovered over the keyboard. She'd been about to tell NY Literary 152 something important, something about how she was starting to fall. Katherine Elizabeth Kelly, stop making moon eyes at your laptop and listen to me. She saved the draft and turned. What's wrong? Fox Books, they're coming. The words hit her like ice water. What do you mean coming? I mean there's a sign going up 20 feet from our front door. Future site of Fox Books Megastore, opening spring 2024. We're dead, Kat. We're absolutely dead. What Katherine didn't realise was that the man she'd been falling in love with had just made the decision to destroy everything she held dear, and he'd made it 30 minutes after writing her that beautiful email. James Alexander Fox was having the worst morning of his exceptionally successful life. He stood on the 40th floor of Fox Tower, watching the sunrise turn Manhattan's windows into mirrors of gold. His reflection stared back. 34 years old, Armani suit that cost more than most people's monthly rent, eyes that his ex-girlfriend had once described as beautiful but empty, like a museum after closing. She wasn't wrong. Mr. Fox. His assistant, Jennifer, knocked tentatively. The board is ready. The board. 12 people who viewed books the way others viewed widgets. Units to be moved, profits to be maximised, everything his grandfather would have hated. James's fingers unconsciously went to his pocket, where he kept a worn photo. His grandfather's hardware store, 1992. A young James sitting on the counter, surrounded by tools and the smell of sawdust and possibility. 2 weeks after that photo was taken, Megatools moved in across the street. 6 months later, Fox Hardware was gone. His grandfather never recovered. Heart attack at 59, they said, but James knew the truth. He died of a broken heart. Sir, Jennifer prompted again. Coming. The boardroom was a monument to corporate excess. The table alone cost more than the Corner Book Nook made in a year. Not that James knew that yet. He would soon. Gentlemen, ladies, James began, clicking through his presentation. The Upper West Side represents our most promising expansion opportunity. Demographics showed... Oh, cut to the chase, Fox, interrupted Chairman Bradley. What's the ROI? 12 million over 5 years, 15 if we implement the cafe concept. Competition? James clicked to the next slide. A photo appeared. The Corner Book Nook, bathed in morning light, looking like something from a storybook. Negligible. One independent bookstore, 40 years old, annual revenue under $500,000. They'll close within 3 months of our opening. Good, Bradley said. Proceed. But James found himself staring at the photo. Something about it. Then he saw it. In the corner of the window. A child's drawing. A dragon reading to a mouse. His blood went cold. This was the bookshop, the one from last night, the one he'd described to Bookish Dreamer 95. But wait, it gets worse. Because what James didn't know yet, what would haunt him for weeks to come, was that while he was authorising the destruction of this bookshop, the owner was upstairs, falling in love with his words. "Fox? You all right?" Bradley's voice cut through. "Fine. Yes, we'll break ground in 6 weeks. Excellent. Next item. Actually," James heard himself say, "I'd like to visit it first." Visit what? The bookshop, the Corner Book Nook, just to assess the competition. Bradley laughed. "You're getting soft, Fox. Your grandfather's weakness showing through." The room went silent. Everyone knew about James's grandfather. It was part of the corporate legend, the boy who lost everything and came back to conquer. "My grandfather wasn't weak," James said quietly. "He just didn't see it coming." "I do. That's why I always win." But as he left the boardroom, James couldn't shake the feeling that this time winning might cost him something he didn't know he had to lose. He went back to his office and opened his laptop. Bookish Dreamer 95 hadn't responded yet. He started typing. "I did something today I'm not proud of. Made a decision that will hurt people. Good people, probably. But it's business, right? That's what I tell myself. It's just business. My grandfather used to say that every business was really about people, about community, but he lost everything believing that. So why do I feel like I'm losing something too? Why do I feel like the more I win, the less I have?" He hit send before he could change his mind. Katherine spent the morning in crisis mode. She called emergency meetings with her staff, all 3 of them, made desperate phone calls to the community board, and started a petition that gathered 43 signatures in 2 hours. It wasn't enough. It would never be enough. At noon, she finally returned to her laptop to finish her email to NY Literary 152. But there was already a new message waiting. She read his confession about hurting good people, about losing himself in winning. She wrote back, "We all make choices we're not proud of. But you know what I believe? It's never too late to choose differently. You say you're losing something. Maybe that's your soul trying to get your attention. Maybe the mask has been on so long you've forgotten it's not your real face. What would happen if you took it off, really off? What would happen if you chose to be the person you are at 3 a.m., standing outside bookshops, believing in magic?" She hit send, then added, "P.S. I'm fighting my own battle today. Someone wants to destroy something I love. A big corporation coming for a small bookshop. David and Goliath, except David is a 5'4" woman who cries at the end of children's books. Wish me luck." At 2 p.m, the bell above her door chimed. Katherine looked up from her inventory, expecting to see a customer. Instead, she saw a man in an expensive suit, looking like he'd rather be anywhere else in the world. "Can I help you?" she asked, not recognising him yet. James Fox turned, and time did that thing it does in movies. It slowed down. Later he would tell her it was the first time he'd ever believed in love at first sight. Not because she was beautiful, though she was, in that dishevelled, ink-stained way of people who live for books rather than appearances, but because of the way she held herself, like someone ready to fight dragons. "I'm James Fox," he said, "from Fox Books Megastores." The book in Katherine's hand, a first edition of Pride and Prejudice, worth about $3,000, hit the floor. The spine cracked. Neither of them moved to pick it up. "You're him," she breathed. "The destroyer." "I prefer developer." "I prefer accuracy. You destroy. You demolish the Riverside Poetry House. You shut down Margot's Mystery Nook. You... I provide better prices, better selection, better... Better? Katherine's voice rose. You think what you do is better? You know what Mrs. Chen told me yesterday? She's been coming here for 20 years. 20 years! She bought her daughter's first picture book here. Now she brings her granddaughter. That's not just commerce, Mr. Fox. That's community. That's. It's business, James interrupted, but the words felt like ash in his mouth. Is that what you tell yourself? Katherine stepped closer, and James caught the scent of her, vanilla and old paper, and something uniquely her. Is that what helps you sleep at night? Here's the thing about moments that change everything. You rarely recognize them when they're happening. But this was one of those moments. Because James Fox, corporate destroyer, looked into Catherine Kelly's eyes and saw something that would haunt him. Disappointment. Not anger, not fear. Disappointment. Like he'd failed a test he didn't know he was taking. I should go, he said. Yes, you should. And don't come back. Not until you're ready to tell me why. Why what? Why you need to destroy beautiful things. What happened to you, James Fox? Who hurt you so badly that this is who you became? James left without answering, but her question followed him. It followed him to his empty apartment. It followed him to his laptop where he wrote, "The woman I told you about, the one whose bookshop is being destroyed." I met her today. She asked me a question I couldn't answer. She asked me why I need to destroy beautiful things. I wanted to tell her the truth, that I don't know how to create anymore, only destroy. That I'm so broken I break everything I touch. Is that pathetic? A grown man who's forgotten how to build instead of tear down? Katherine, meanwhile, was writing her own email. I met him today. The destroyer. You know what the strangest part was? For just a second, when he first walked in, before I knew who he was, I thought he had kind eyes. Sad, but kind. Like someone who'd forgotten how to smile genuinely. Then he told me his name, and those eyes went cold. But I keep wondering which one is the mask, the cold or the kind. 3 days passed. 3 days of Katherine organising protests, giving interviews to local news stations, and rallying the neighbourhood. 3 days of James fielding calls from contractors, architects and lawyers. 3 days of them writing to each other every night, falling deeper in love with each word. Then came Thursday, the day that changed everything. Katherine was at Molly's Brew, her favourite coffee shop, reading NY Literary 152's latest email on her phone. I dreamt about you last night. I know that sounds creepy since we've never met, but hear me out. In the dream, we were in a bookshop. Not just any bookshop, one that seemed alive. The books were whispering stories, and you were laughing, pulling me from shelf to shelf, saying, "Listen to this one." Your face was blurred. Dreams are strange that way, but your laugh was clear as bell. I woke up and realised, I'm falling in love with you. Is that insane? To fall in love with someone you've never seen. She was composing her reply when the door chimed and James Fox walked in. They froze, eyes locked across the crowded cafe. James turned to leave, but Katherine heard herself say, "Wait." He stopped. "Buy me a coffee," she said. "You owe me that much before you destroy my life." They sat at a corner table, two enemies pretending to be civilized. "Why?" Katherine asked simply. "I really want to understand." James was quiet for so long she thought he wouldn't answer. Then, when I was 7, my grandfather took me to his hardware store every Saturday. Fox Hardware. 3 generations of Foxes serving the community. He knew everyone's name, their kids' names, their problems. "Business is about people, Jamie," he'd say. "Never forget that." He paused, lost in memory. Then Megatools came. A superstore. Everything cheaper, faster, bigger. Within 6 months we were hemorrhaging customers. Within a year we were gone. My grandfather tried to fight. He really did. Community meetings, loyalty programs, personal service. None of it mattered. People chose cheaper. They always choose cheaper. So you decided to become Megatools? I decided to never be the one who loses Exol. Never be the one standing in an empty store wondering why loyalty doesn't pay the bills. Katherine leaned forward. But don't you see what you've become? You're the monster in your own story, your mega tools. I know exactly what I am, James said sharply. I'm successful. I'm powerful. I'm lonely. The word hung between them. You don't know me, James said quietly. No, but I know loneliness. I see it in how you hold your coffee cup, like it's the only warm thing you've touched today. I see it in how you keep checking your phone, hoping someone, anyone needs you for something other than business. I see it. Stop. Why? Because I'm right? James stood abruptly. This was a mistake. Your whole life is a mistake, Mr. Fox. The only question is whether you're brave enough to admit it. He left, but not before Katherine saw something that would matter later. His laptop screen, briefly visible as he packed up, showing an email draft. An email that started with, Dear Bookish Dreamer 95. Saturday morning. Story time at the Corner Book Nook. Katherine had barely slept, torn between her growing feelings for NY Literary 152 and her hatred for James Fox. They'd exchanged more emails, each one deeper, more vulnerable. NY Literary 152. What if the person you're meant to be with is someone impossible? Someone you could never actually be with? Bookish Dreamer 95. Then the universe is cruel. But I don't believe in impossible. I believe in difficult, complicated, messy, but not impossible. She was setting up for story time when the bell chimed. James Fox stood in the doorway, looking uncertain. Story time doesn't start for 10 minutes, good to know, Katherine said coolly. And it's for children. I know, I wanted to see it before. Before you destroy it? Before? Yes. The children started arriving, 7 of them, ages 4 to 8. Katherine watched James watch them, saw something shift in his face as they settled on the worn carpet, faces bright with anticipation. Today, Katherine announced, we're reading The Dragon Who Forgot How to Breathe Fire. She began the story, doing voices, making the children giggle and gasp. James found himself leaning against a bookshelf, transfixed. This wasn't just reading, it was magic. Then it happened, the moment that changed everything. A little girl, maybe 6, with pigtails and a gap-toothed smile, tugged on James's expensive suit sleeve. Mister, are you here for story time? I'm just watching. You can't just watch story time, you have to participate. She sounded out the big word carefully. Here, she handed him a picture book. You can be the dragon. I don't think... Please? Her eyes were huge, brown, innocent. My mummy used to be the dragon, but she's in heaven now. Miss Kate says heaven is just another kind of story, a story that doesn't end. James looked at Katherine, who was watching him with an unreadable expression. Then he did something that surprised everyone, including himself. He sat down on the floor, not caring about his $3,000 suit, and became the dragon. Roar! He bellowed, making the children shriek with delight. I am the mighty dragon who has forgotten how to breathe fire. For 30 minutes, James Fox disappeared. In his place was someone else, someone who remembered Saturday mornings at his grandfather's store, someone who believed in magic. The little girl, Lucy, Katherine told him later, stayed close to him the entire time, occasionally whispering corrections. Dragons are louder! Or, you have to flap your wings. When story time ended and parents collected their children, Lucy hugged James's leg. Will you be here next week, so? She asked. James looked at Katherine, then at the future site of Fox Books sign visible through the window. I don't know. You should be. You're a good dragon, almost as good as Mummy was. After she left, Katherine said quietly, her mother died 8 months ago. Cancer. Story time is the only thing that makes her smile, but I'm sure Fox Books will have an adequate replacement. Maybe a minimum wage employee who doesn't know the children's names, doesn't know that Lucy is afraid of wolves, so we skip certain stories, doesn't know that Tommy has dyslexia, so we go slower on the hard parts. Katherine, don't. Just don't. You came, you saw, you can feel good about yourself. You gave the condemned bookshop one last story time. How magnanimous. James left, but Lucy's words echoed. You're a good dragon. When had he stopped being good at anything except destroying? That night both of them cracked. The emails flew back and forth. James wrote, I did something today that reminded me who I used to be. I played a dragon for a little girl who lost her mother. For 30 minutes I wasn't a corporate executive. I wasn't the man who destroys bookshops. I was just Jimmy. That's what my grandfather called me. Jimmy. I haven't been Jimmy in 20 years. The little girl asked if I'd be back next week. I wanted to say yes, but how can I? How can I sit on that floor playing dragons, knowing that in 3 months that floor will be gone, that she'll have nowhere to go for story time? I'm falling apart. Or maybe I'm falling back together. I can't tell anymore. You asked what would happen if we met. Here's the truth. You'd hate me. You'd take one look at what I've become and you'd hate me. Because I'm the villain in every story you love. I'm the corporate bad guy who crushes dreams and calls it progress. But God help me, I love you. I love your passion for books. I love how you describe the rain on bookshop windows. I love that you believe in magic at 32 years old. I love that you see the best in everyone, even anonymous strangers who write to you at 2 a.m. What do I do? How do I choose between the man I am and the man you make me want to be? Katherine responded, My dear NY Literary 152, you're not falling apart. You're becoming. That's what caterpillars do before they become butterflies. They literally dissolve into goo. Complete destruction before transformation. You say I'd hate you if we met. Maybe. But maybe I'd see Jimmy, the boy who lost everything and built armour so thick he forgot there was skin underneath. Maybe I'd see the man who quotes Neruda and plays dragons for grieving children. Here's what I believe. We are all multiple people. The question is, which one do we feed? Which one do we let drive? You've been feeding the destroyer for so long, you've forgotten the builder exists. But he's there. I see him in every word you write. I'm falling in love with you too. Completely, ridiculously, impossibly in love. And it terrifies me because you're right. We might be impossible. You might be someone I could never be with in real life. But in here, in these emails, we're perfect for each other. The man who's trying to destroy my bookshop came to story time today. You know what I saw? A moment of pure joy on his face when he made those children laugh. For 30 minutes he wasn't the enemy. He was just a man remembering how to play. Is it crazy that I wanted to kiss him in that moment? This corporate destroyer who's ruining my life? Is it crazy that for just a second I saw past the suit to something else? Choose the man you want to be, not the man fear made you become. Sunday night. October rain, hammering Manhattan. Both Katherine and James sat at their computers, knowing something had to give. The pretense was killing them. The distance. The masks. James typed first. I need to tell you something. The bookshop I mentioned, the one being destroyed, I'm the one destroying it. I'm the corporate villain. Fox Books, that's me. The woman who owns it, she's extraordinary, fierce, beautiful. She made me play a dragon at story time, and for 30 minutes I remembered what joy felt like. I think I'm falling in love with her too, the real her, not just the idea of her, but she hates me. Rightfully so. I'm destroying everything she loves. What kind of person falls in love with two women who are fighting each other? What kind of person am I? At the exact same moment, Katherine was typing. I have a confession. The corporate destroyer, James Fox. I can't stop thinking about him. Not with hate, with something else. When he played the dragon, when that little girl hugged him, I saw who he really is, who he could be. This is insane, but I think I'm falling for both of you. You, my beautiful anonymous correspondent who feeds my soul, and him, the broken man who's forgotten how to build instead of destroy. What kind of person falls in love with her enemy? They both hit send simultaneously. Then silence. 1 minute. 2. 5. Katherine read his email once, twice, 3 times. Her hands shook. James stared at his screen, the truth crashing over him like a tidal wave. The bookshop he was destroying belonged to Bookish Dreamer 95. The woman he was falling in love with online was Katherine Kelly. They were enemies in real life and soulmates in pixels. Katherine typed, James. He typed, Katherine. Then simultaneously, it's you. Katherine didn't remember running through the rain, didn't remember flagging down a taxi, didn't remember convincing building security to let her up. She only remembered standing outside James's apartment door, soaking wet, heart pounding. He opened before she could knock, like he'd been waiting. They stood there, 2 people seeing each other for the first time, really seeing. All those emails, Katherine whispered, all those beautiful words. That was you? All that passion, James said softly, all that fire, that was you? I fell in love with you. Which me? The destroyer or the writer? Both. All, every version. Katherine stepped closer. You bastard! You beautiful, broken bastard! You made me love you twice. I'm calling it off, James said suddenly. The expansion. Tomorrow morning. I'll lose my job probably, but... Katherine kissed him. It was a kiss 6 months in the making, a kiss that tasted like rain and coffee and all the words they'd shared. A kiss that was both hello and goodbye, beginning and ending. When they pulled apart, James touched her face gently. I don't know how to do this. How to be both people. Then choose. Be the dragon. Be the man who quotes poetry badly. Be Jimmy. What if I lose everything? Then you'll have lost things, but you'll have found yourself, and, she smiled, you'll have me. The board will never agree. Then we fight, together this time. James pulled her inside, out of the hallway. His apartment was exactly what she'd expected. Expensive, minimal, cold. Except for one corner where books were piled everywhere. Poetry, fiction, children's stories. This is you, she said, touching the books. The real you. That's NY Literary 152's corner. James Fox lives in the rest. Then maybe it's time for NY Literary 152 to take over the whole apartment. They stayed up all night, talking, really talking, face to face for the first time. No screens, no masks, just 2 people who'd found each other by trying to destroy each other. Monday morning, James stood before the board, knowing he was about to commit corporate suicide. Gentlemen, ladies, I'm withdrawing the Upper West Side expansion. The room erupted. Bradley's face turned purple. Have you lost your mind? No, I've found it. Fox, sit down. You're clearly having some kind of breakdown. I'm having a breakthrough. James clicked to a new presentation he'd prepared at dawn. The Corner Book Nook isn't just a bookstore. It's a community centre. They do story time for kids, book clubs for seniors, grief support groups in the poetry section. We can't replace that with a corporate store. We can and we will, Bradley said coldly. You're either with us or... The door opened. Mr. Whitman entered. The founder. The man who'd built Fox Books from a single store 40 years ago. He rarely attended meetings anymore. Continue, James, he said quietly. James's hands steadied. I'm proposing something different. What if instead of destroying independents, we supported them? A Fox Foundation. We partner with stores like the Corner Book Nook. We help them thrive. We become the good guys for once. That's the most ridiculous, boy, Bradley started. It's brilliant, Whitman interrupted. Do you know why I started Fox Books? Because I loved books. Somewhere along the way, We forgot that. We became about square footage and profit margins. James is right. It's time to remember who we are. You're both insane, Bradley sputtered. The shareholders will love it, Whitman said. The PR alone will be worth millions. Fox Books saves independent bookstores. We'll be heroes instead of villains. The door opened again. Katherine walked in, followed by Lucy and 6 other children from Storytime, then Mrs. Chen and 20 customers from the Corner Book Nook. What is this? Bradley demanded. This, Katherine said, is what you're destroying. These are the faces, the stories. Lucy, tell them about Storytime. Lucy, brave little Lucy, walked right up to the board table. Mr. James is a good dragon. He does the voices right. My mummy is in heaven, but when Mr. James reads stories, it's like she's still here. Please don't take away our bookshop. It's where the magic lives. One by one, the customers spoke. Mrs. Chen about finding solace in books after her husband died. Tommy's mother about how Katherine's patience with his dyslexia had changed his life. By the end, even Bradley was silent. Whitman called for a vote. All in favour of the Fox Foundation, with James as director. One by one, hands raised. Even Bradley, eventually, grudgingly. Motion carried, Whitman announced. Then quietly to James, your grandfather would be proud. Not of what you became, but of what you chose to become. Saturday morning. The Corner Book Nook was packed. They'd expanded into the space next door, funded by the Fox Foundation. The children's section was 3 times bigger, with a special area called Lucy's Dragon Den. All right, everyone, Katherine called out. Story time! 32 children gathered in a circle. Storytime had become legendary in the neighbourhood. Today, James announced, entering in a full dragon costume, we're reading a very special book. He held up a hardcover, The Bookshop and the Dragon, a True Story by James Fox and Katherine Kelly Fox. The children gasped. Lucy shouted, You got married. We did, Katherine laughed, showing her ring. The dragon married the bookshop owner. That's silly, a boy called out. Dragons can't marry people. Oh, but they can, James said, pulling Katherine close. When the dragon learns to build instead of burn, when the bookshop owner sees past the scales to the heart underneath, when 2 people who should be enemies choose to be lovers instead. They told the story they'd written together, about 2 people who fell in love through words before they ever met, about choosing love over victory, about the magic that happens when you take off your mask. When story time ended, Lucy hugged them both. My mummy would have liked this story, she said. She believed in happy endings. So do we, sweetheart, Katherine said. Well, so do we. That night, in their apartment above the bookshop, James had moved in, turning his cold penthouse into affordable housing for writers. They sat at their laptops side by side. Email? James asked. Email, Katherine agreed. They still wrote to each other every day, even though they shared a bed, a life, a story. Because some loves begin with words, and words were where they found each other. James typed, Dear Bookish Dreamer, 95, I fell in love with you again today. Watching you with those children, seeing your eyes light up when Lucy laughed. You asked once if people could change. They can. I'm proof. Love changes us. You changed me. Katherine typed, Dear NY Literary 152, Today you were the dragon again. The good dragon. The one who protects instead of destroys. You know what Lucy told me? She said you're better than her mummy was at voices. That's the highest praise she can give. You're not the villain anymore. You're the hero, my hero. They hit send, their emails crossing in cyberspace like they had a year ago, when they were enemies who didn't know they were falling in love. The bookshop below them creaked and sighed, as if settling in for the night. Somewhere in the children's section, Lucy's dragon drawing still hung in the window. But now it had company. dozens of drawings from all the children whose lives had been touched by story time. The Corner Book Nook had survived, more than survived, thrived. It had become a model for the Fox Foundation, which had now saved 73 independent bookshops across the country. And in the end, that's what love does. It saves us. It transforms us. It takes our broken pieces and makes them into something beautiful. Katherine and James Fox had proved that sometimes the best love stories are the ones where enemies become lovers, where the dragon learns to build instead of burn, where words on a screen become the foundation for a lifetime of love. The end. Every great love story has a moment where everything changes. For Katherine and James, it wasn't just one moment, it was thousands, every email, every word, every choice to be vulnerable instead of vindictive. They still run the Corner Book Nook together. James handles the business side with the same intensity he once used for destroying. Katherine manages the creative side, the community programs, the magic. Lucy, now 13, volunteers as a junior storyteller. She's especially good at dragon voices. And every night, without fail, they write to each other. Not because they have to, but because that's where they found each other, in the words, in the space between the lines, in the brave act of showing someone who you really are when all the masks come off. Some people say you can't fall in love with words alone. Katherine and James prove them wrong every single day. After all, every bookshop owner knows words are the most powerful magic we have, and sometimes, if you're very lucky, they lead you home.